Greenland and Iceland compared. The difference between Greenland and Iceland transcends just the prefixes of their names. In other words, while both are lands, one is green and the other is ice. Nevertheless, there are several similarities between the two countries. Why not join us in the discussion of this Greenland and Iceland compared? Despite this fact that they have certain common qualities, Greenland and Iceland are two very separate countries. Climates, cultures, languages, histories and communities differ between the two countries. You need to pay attention to this piece about the fundamental differences between Iceland and Greenland to ensure that you know which country you actually want to visit. Population. Greenland has a far fewer population. The population of Greenland is 56,421, with the majority of the population holding Danish citizenship since the country is recognized as an autonomous region of the Kingdom of Denmark. Meanwhile, the population of Iceland is 368,792. Both countries have sparsely inhabited landscapes. In both Iceland and Greenland, the majority of the population is concentrated in big urban areas. By the way, Greenland is a massive island. In Iceland, the capital city of Reykjavik is home to an incredible 50% of the population, while in Greenland, the largest city of Nuuk is home to only 30% of the population. Size. Even though Iceland is more populous than Greenland, it is 21 times smaller than Iceland. While the total size of Iceland is 39,817 square miles, Greenland has a huge area of 836,330 square miles. Don't bother to calculate the mammoth difference in population densities. Tourism. Iceland is far less difficult to visit. It's no surprise, Iceland receives more than 2 million visitors every year, but Greenland receives an average of only 60,000. Iceland has a greater number of hotels, restaurants and infrastructure for tourists to enjoy as a result of its greater experience with international visitors. For example, taking a self-drive tour around the entire country on the Icelandic Ring Road is a simple and convenient option. In Greenland, on the other hand, there are just about 93 miles of paved roads, making travel by automobile far more difficult. In spite of all that, Greenland has a great deal to offer its tourists. Greenland is progressively gaining in popularity as a tourist destination, thanks to its rich and intriguing history, as well as its breathtaking polar nature and wildlife. Climate. Don't be snowed by the name. Iceland actually has less ice than Greenland, which is significantly cooler. On the other hand, Greenland is not as green as Iceland. An ice sheet that has been in place for thousands of years covers 11% of Iceland's geographical area. As incredible as this is, it pales into insignificance when compared to Greenland's incredible 80% ice sheet coverage, which is unfathomable. Visitors to Iceland may be surprised to learn that the country's winter is not nearly as harsh as the one experienced in Greenland. During the coldest months of the year, Iceland's average temperature is approximately 0 degrees Celsius, while it may plummet to a freezing minus 20 degrees Celsius. Why then isn't Greenland called Iceland? It's partially because of the changing climate. Greenland was significantly warmer than it is today when the Norse people, the Vikings, established settlements in Iceland and Greenland. And Iceland is now warmer than it was 1,000 years ago when both places got their names. History and religion. Greenland and Iceland are worlds apart when it comes to cultures, languages and history. The majority of Icelanders are believed to descend from Norsemen, while almost all Greenlandic people are descendants of Inuit people. The Inuit people of Greenland may be divided into 3 distinct groupings, each having its own language and history. Although Christianity is the predominant religion in both Iceland and Greenland, the latter is, in recent years, becoming a more secular society with a declining church-going population. Language. Greenlandic is the official language of Greenland, and it is one of the 3 languages of the Inuit people. The majority of Greenlanders are also fluent in Danish. This is due to the fact that Greenland is officially a part of the Kingdom of Denmark, despite the fact that it has been in charge of its own internal affairs since 2009. In contrast, Iceland is an independent country with its own national laws and government. Icelandic is the official language. However, English is spoken by the majority of the population from a young age. Wildlife. Iceland and Greenland are both rich in species and natural beauty, and they share many characteristics. Polar birds abound in the sky. while whales, sharks and seals may be seen in the neighbouring waters, which make for an unforgettable experience. The two countries share extensive national parks, massive ice caps and stunning landscapes that visitors may take advantage of. However, there is a fair amount of difference between the two in these regards. Iceland, which sits on the brink of two tectonic plates, is home to hundreds of volcanoes due to its geographic location. This has had a significant impact on the terrain, resulting in the formation of many ancient caverns and the spectacular Silifra fissure. Greenland does not have any volcanoes, but it does contain the world's biggest national park. The National Park of Greenland, located in the northeast of the country, is about 10 times larger than the whole territory of Iceland. This pristine area of Greenland, which is completely devoid of automobiles or humans, is home to walruses and polar bears. But you are unlikely to spot any polar bears in Iceland, although you may come across a few walruses on your travels. When the Vikings arrived, Icelandic walruses were in plentiful supply throughout its coastline, but the Vikings almost hunted them to extinction. While there can be a few walruses that hang around in Iceland nowadays, they are not the same Icelandic kind that was first introduced. The midnight sun. Because of its closeness to the Arctic Circle, both Iceland and Greenland suffer long periods of darkness in the winter and a sun that does not set in the summer. As a result, witnessing the northern lights is feasible in both locations, but only during the colder months of the year. Being closer to the Arctic Circle than Iceland, Greenland experiences more of the midnight sun than Iceland. In the months of May, June and July, the sun shines continuously for a full 24 hours. Greenland, on the other hand, can have unusually powerful displays of the northern lights throughout the winter months. Seeing the northern lights in Iceland is also an unforgettable experience. Cuisine. Traditional food in Greenland and Iceland includes a variety of sea creatures such as seabirds, fish, seals, sharks and whales. Because it is difficult to cultivate crops in any environment, the early settlers had to rely primarily on hunting and fishing to supplement their income. Agriculture, on the other hand, is prevalent in both locations. Greenland's most southwestern tip is home to several lush farms, and Iceland's southernmost region is home to a large number of farms. The majority of Icelandic farmers, on the other hand, now rely on tourism to augment their income. Historical volcanic eruptions have devastated numerous farming towns and repeatedly depleted the soil's fertility, causing crops and cropland to fail. The Greenlandic people were not afflicted with this, but they were compelled to abandon their farms as a result of rapidly changing weather patterns. Health and well-being. Overall, the health of Icelandic citizens is superior to that of their Greenlandic counterparts. Although both Iceland and Greenland have good universal healthcare systems, the life expectancy in Iceland is higher than that in Greenland. Nevertheless, the health of Greenlandic people has significantly improved in recent years, according to official statistics. According to measurements taken in the late 1990s, Greenlandic children were between 1.9 and 2.7 inches shorter than kids in Denmark. We bring this up because at that time, Greenlandic politics was totally under the influence of the Danish government. This is no longer the case as a result of improved health and dietary practices. Unfortunately, suicide continues to be a significant problem in Greenland. It is believed that 1 in every 5 persons has attempted suicide. Despite the fact that Iceland has a high incidence of individuals taking antidepressants, the country has constantly been ranked as one of the world's happiest places to live in many surveys. Iceland and Greenland are worlds apart in terms of geography and climate, yet both are well known for their natural hot springs and massive ice fields. They are both sparsely inhabited and home to great wildlife. The people in the area are warm and welcoming. The two locations feel the effects of the Arctic Circle. If you know other similarities and differences between the two countries, kindly let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.